Hi FlossTube, I'm Hannah, the Okie Stitcher. This is my second time filming today. Today is the 5th of February 2023. The first take, Aoife was with me, but my phone did whatever my phone does, because this is not the first time this has happened, and I lost everything. So now I'm starting over. Okay, so with that being said, trying to remember what I've done. Okay, so I guess the funnest thing that I've done is, and if you saw that hand, that's actually Berlin. She's laying behind me. Was I took the Girl Scouts to the planetarium at Union Station in Kansas City, and that was a ton of fun. When I was in high school, I was a part of the astronomy club, and that's where I was first exposed to the planetarium. It was so much fun. And it was just as much fun this time around as I remember it being back in high school. And all the scouts from Daisies through cadets really liked it. And from what I hear, the adults even liked it. And I loved it, of course. And it was seasonal. It talked about the constellations for the winter. And I can see us going back for the spring and the summer and the fall and just hitting all 4 seasons. So that would be really cool. Well, down the street from there is the Hallmark Visitor Center, which is also the museum. So I'm not sure why they don't just call it the Hallmark Museum, because Visitor Center is kind of misleading, but it is what it is. They have free patches for the Hallmark Visitor Center. And so each of the girls got one for their vest, and then I got one for my own troop leader vest. And so that was really cool. And while we were there, they have this machine that makes these little bows as free little keepsakes if you don't want the patch, or even if you do want the patch, these little bows. And I had a small little 13-second clip of how they were made, and I can insert that here in just a second. Okay, so then let's move on to stitching. I had 2 finishes. This one I actually finished just a little later after my last FlossTube on the 18th. So I've talked about this one a couple of times. It's Krampus. It's an Etsy pattern. The fabric is coffee dyed 14 count Aida that I dyed myself. And this piece is for my husband. And I'm waiting for him to tell me if he wants other motifs around it to make it kind of a sampler type thing for Yule, or if he just wants Krampus and I can just cut it down and finish it however he wants. So waiting for him on that. The Etsy store is, where am I at? The Stitch Cat. And the DMC floss is just called for in the pattern. So there's that. The next one, I started on the 3rd of January. And last time I showed it, I just had one little corner motif and then a little bit of the F and Frank. So I just had this motif and then a little bit of the F. And obviously now I've finished it. So keep going the opposite way. So I did some color changes in the pattern. The flowers are pink instead of yellow, and all the words are DMC 310. So let me give you some numbers. The green is the called for 487. The yellow flowers 726. The brown words 433, and doctor is 931. Oh, and the Etsy store is the Gloomy Gremlin. This is 14 count vintage oat Ada from Hobby Lobby. Here's the packaging. And then, so if you've been following me for a while, you know everything that I do substitution wise, there's always some sort of significance behind it. It's not usually because it just looks cuter. So the yellow flowers, typically it's for yellow roses, but the typical meaning is remembrance. And so it kind of ties into the overall storyline of remembering the people that have died, but also the creature himself. Yeah, just remembrance. And then the brown is for, again, the dead people that were a part of the creature. Frankenstein actually hired grave robbers to dig up the bodies to use for the creature. Yeah, for the creature that he created and then abandoned. That's such a sad story. But yeah, so that represents Earth. And then the blue gray for doctor, it's a double representation. The blue is for the medical field, and that represents all forms of medical field, whether it's doctor, LPN, RN, CNA, the EMS field, respiratory therapy, phlebotomy. I mean, the list goes on and on who the blue represents, but represents that. And then the gray aspect, I wanted that because in the book, the creature's skin is actually gray. It's not green like the movie show. So I wanted that to be reflected as well. So that's why I went with the bluish gray instead of the actual medical blue, which is more of a navy blue. So there's that one. And eventually when I get it framed, I'll be mailing it off to a friend. I usually send her a care package in March. So that's just coming around the corner. So those are my finishes. I have one WIP that's still hanging out, and I have it in my little project bag, my one and only project bag. So this one, and I apologize, I don't have a picture for you. If you just Google The Simpsons Valentine, you should be able to figure out what I'm talking about. So, and I talked about this in my last YouTube, but this is a Valentine's piece. So the story behind it on the episode is Ralph Wiggins doesn't have a Valentine at the Valentine's Day party. And so Lisa makes him a Valentine on the spot. And it's a train down here. And it says Happy Valentine's Day. And then up here, this is actually steam from the train. And it'll say, I choo-choo choose you. And so last time you saw it, I had the outer outline all the way done, and I was working my way down the inner one, as you can tell. And so now I've completed the inside border all the way around, and I'm hoping to get this done, if not by Valentine's Day, pretty close to it. It is my focus piece since it's the only one that I have currently going, and I have to get at least 30 minutes of stitching done a night for the embroidery.com challenge, the Love to Stitch. I really enjoy that challenge. Embroidery.com does two. They do the Witchy Stitchy challenge, and they also do the Love to Stitch challenge in February and October respectively. It's a free challenge for you to join. At the end, if you're successful on doing all 20 to 30 days, depending on the month, you get a free needle minder and free shipping. So that's some great marketing right there, because I don't know about everyone else, but I take full advantage of that free shipping, and I buy all kinds of cool stuff that I usually don't treat myself to on a regular basis. I think this year I might splurge and get the is it Classic Color Works or Week Dye Works? Whatever the Stitching with the Housewives uses, because I got that up on the housetop chart for my birthday, the one with the chickens, and I've been waiting to get the floss because they're kind of pricey for what I'm used to spending on a floss, and this is my perfect chance. And so yeah, I'm gonna do that. So that's my WIP. Now going on to plans, there's actually about four projects that I'm eyeballing to start. So the first one is this Easter piece. It is a Etsy pattern. This one actually has a cover photo, so that's good. And it kind of looks like a stamp, so I'm just calling it the Easter stamp, but I don't know. So I was trying to dye some fabric, like a really light pink, and then change the words and this one little pink over here. This one little pink Easter egg, a really light purple. But when I went to go dye the fabric, it turned out this really dark reddish orange color. And so I think because the dye that I used was coral, and I used the wrong color. That's all it was. But it's still cute. I'm still gonna use it for something. I just don't know exactly what yet. So that's just gonna be put back into my stash. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to go ahead and do the called for with the floss, and then I'm gonna fill in the white with purple, a really light purple. And that way it's still a little bit more than just white, because I feel like on the white it doesn't pop as much as it could. So that's what I'm gonna do. So that's project number one. Project number two is another Etsy thing, and I wish that I had a cover photo for it because my description is not going to do it any justice. So it is it's Beauty and the Beast. It's a silhouette of the cartoon Belle and the cartoon Beast. And I think that it may actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I've seen this connected with the Broadway decal. So it might actually be the Broadway decal. But it's that, and it's just DMC 310 for the outlines. And then Beast is holding a rose, and of course it's the green and the red. So I dyed some 14 count Ada, and this is just a remnant piece from my Valentine that I had already cut out. And the lighting is not doing it justice. It's almost neon on the video, and it's not that bright in real life. So as you can tell, it's... But on Etsy, it says that the finished piece on 14 count Ada is 9 by 9 inches by 9 inches. And so it'll be a good chunk of this. And in real life, this is pretty close to what Belle's dress color is. So I think it'll turn out really cute. And hopefully by the time that I get done make some progress on it, hopefully I can figure out the lighting situation and actually get you a better visual of what it actually looks like. So there's that. And then my third thing that I'm working on is, well, for this one I'm gonna have to go and get a scroll frame and a piece of Ada because it's a much bigger piece than what I'm used to, but it's this one. I won this in a giveaway from One Stitch at a Time -Tara. And right on the top it says 14 count is 14 inches by 14 inches, so that's a pretty good piece, and it's full coverage, obviously. I'm gonna make this piece for my husband, and I'll probably this one because I'm gonna put so much work into it. I'm definitely gonna go get it professionally framed and all that fun stuff, so I'm really looking forward to this. And then last time I went to Hobby Lobby, I was looking at the pieces of Ada, and they have pieces that are big enough for this. I think you can get a 28 inch by 28 inch or something along those lines for like 15 bucks. And so that's really nice. I thought I was gonna have to custom order this piece, so that's nice. And then a scroll frame. I found a scroll frame, and I gotta double check the dimensions, but I found one at Hobby Lobby for $15. So if it's the right dimensions, then that's amazing, because all the ones that I've been eyeballing online are $30+, and that's for just a small one, not to mention like the big one for like Hades and whatnot. Which, speaking of Hades, okay, spoiler alert, and I'll make like a FlossTube extra once I finally get it purchased and everything, but I am working with Michelle from Heaven and Earth Designs, and she is making me a custom Hade piece. Custom. And it's gonna be a heirloom piece for my youngest daughter, Aoife. And it's gonna be so cool. But like I said, once it's finalized and I have it in my hand, because I'm purchasing a hard copy, then I'm going to once I have it in hand, I'll do a FlossTube extra and tell you guys all about it. Anyway, so those are my 3 soon-to-be starts. And then I have another one that it's not a cross-stitch start, but it is a embroidery start, hopefully soon. When I was at Hobby Lobby, I got some flower sack towel fabric, just the cheap Hobby Lobby brand. And I've never embroidered before. Never. I have a friend that she's done some embroidery in the past, and I was talking to her about how hard it was for me to find a stencil of the piece that I wanted, because I want like the outline of Oklahoma, and then I was going to use the centerpiece to do like a almost like a sampler type thing, you know, just play around with some stitches. And she had a great idea. She was like, all you need is whatever design you want, just print it off and then find a light, and then, you know, just use that and trace it with a pencil. And I was like, oh, that's genius, because as long as you're careful with it, it's not going to come off until you're ready for it to come off, just like the tracing paper and the transfer paper is what I mean to say. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna play around with that. That's probably gonna be a little later, probably closer to the next video, just because it's new ground and I have to actually think about it. I can't just pick it up and get going. So sorry if you can hear Ryder in the background. He's my German Shepherd and he likes to bark at everything. He also barks at everything. He's older, and I think he's starting to have, well, I know he's starting to have some health issues, so he's starting to get a little cranky. And okay, and I won a giveaway the other day from Leona at Gammy Stitches. It is this one. It's called Alphabet Hearts, and here's an actual full picture. So for this one, I'm going to hold off on making for just a little bit, and I'm going to actually make this for my oldest daughter. She told me the other day that she wants to be a elementary teacher and be a real estate agent on the side. So what I'm going to do is the heart motifs, I'm going to keep the pastel, and then she actually wants me to change up the colors of the letters to be like a bright crayon multicolor. So like one will be red, one will be blue, green, you know, like a box of crayons. And so I'll do that. And if you guys don't follow Leona, you definitely should. Every time I watch her videos, she's kind of like Olaf. Like, you can tell she's got like the warmest hugs ever. So you should definitely check out her videos, because I enjoy watching her videos. I think that's everything Stitchy related. I do have a Okie Storytime, which Okie is a nickname for Oklahomans. Okay, so as most Americans know, it is Girl Scout cookie season, like full-fledged cookie season. All right, so Girl Scouts started March 12th of 1912 in Savannah, Georgia, right? Right. Okay, so in just 5 years, Girl Scouts had spread all the way to Oklahoma. There was one troop in particular in Muskogee, Oklahoma. There was a total of 80 scouts. So with that many scouts in one town, I'm assuming that is a multi-level troop, probably kindergarten DZs all the way up through high school, I'm assuming. The troop name was Mistletoe Troop. It's so cute. I love that name. I wish that the troops nowadays had cute names like that, but unfortunately we just have numbers. It's so sad. It was led by the high school home ec teacher, Mary Ann Brown, And in the home ec classroom is actually where they baked the sugar cookies that they would sell. They sold them in the cafeteria, and they were able to raise enough funds to support them through the entire year. And, excuse me, and they had enough to also send overseas to the World War I soldiers. So it was actually a two-part event, if you will. And from there, it spread like wildfire because they had so much success with it, you know, spread all over Oklahoma, then the Midwest, and, you know, so forth and so on, and is spread into what we see today. So that is my Okie story time. I plan on keeping this up for continuing movies, and it'll vary on what I talk about. It'll either be something that's going on currently, historical moment, his famous people, could be anything. But yeah, that is all I have for you today.
And Samoas are better.
And I will talk to you in a couple of weeks. All right, TTFN, ta-ta for now.